Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. This is where bicycle retailers, industry innovators, and advocates come together for real conversations about what's happening right now in bike retail, from cargo bikes to carbon fiber. Each episode explores the challenges you're facing, the opportunities ahead, and the people driving our industry forward. We go beyond the surface to uncover practical strategies, fresh perspectives, and authentic stories from shop owners who've been where you are. Whether you're navigating staffing challenges, adapting to market shifts, or looking for your next breakthrough idea, this is your community. Since 1946, the NBDA has been in the trenches with specialty bicycle retailers, providing education, advocacy, and connection when you need it most. Want to be a part of this community? Learn more about NBDA membership at nbda.com.
Is your bike shop stuck in the same revenue plateau year after year? The NBDA's P2 program is the professional development experience that separates thriving retailers from surviving retailers. P2 connects you with industry experts and fellow dealers who've faced your exact challenges. Learn proven strategies for inventory optimization, staff management, and profit maximization. This isn't just theory, but real tactics you can implement immediately. Our members report average profit increases of 15 to 25% within the first year. Imagine what that could mean for your business, your family, and your future. The NBDA P2 program, because your business deserves more than guesswork. Visit nbda.com/P2 to learn more and register today. That's nbda.com/P2.
Hey listeners, welcome back to Bicycle Retail Radio. Thanks for being here. It's Heather Mason, NBDA Executive Director. I'm sitting down today with Mike Massey. He is founder and CEO of Locally, and Justin Kotzmoyer, Retail Activation Manager. We're talking about how riders are shopping in 2026 and how specialty bicycle retailers can capture more sales. We talk about why most purchases start online, how tools like real-time inventory and buy online, pick up in store help connect shoppers to local stores, and why broader brand coverage and local search viability matter. We talk about consumer trends, retailer best practices, and the importance of keeping commerce local to strengthen the cycling community. I absolutely enjoyed this conversation. These guys are great. I hope you'll enjoy it too. Mike, Justin, welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Heather. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Heather.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of Locally. So I started at the NBDA in 2021, and I've been fortunate to work with Scott, to work with the team for some time now, really helping our retailers be found, understanding local search engines. There's so much shifting and changing, I feel like, every day. So Locally has been just a great partner. So I think we're long overdue, and I'm really just thrilled to have this conversation. Our listeners are going to love it. Listeners, in our show notes, we're going to link to Locally's website so you can learn more. But as we always do, I want to start with just getting to know our guests. And I mean, Mike, founder and CEO, I feel honored to have you on the show. I've worked with your team, but this is my first time actually meeting you. And I would just like to start at the beginning and know more about you. I think you came from a retail family business. Is that correct?
I did, and thank you. And I'm honored to be here. So thank you a bunch for that. And so yeah, I grew up in a family business, multi-generation. I'm a third generation retailer. Based in New Orleans. We have 3 stores. We're in the kind of the outdoor sporting goods space, and I'm sitting in one of my stores in the middle of New Orleans.
Oh my gosh, so you still have the family business and you're doing Locally as well.
And still the family.
I love it,
I,
Mike.
I'm not really doing the family business and locally, but I am sitting in the store, and the rest of my family now runs the business,
Oh
as well
my,
as a few other people too.
oh my gosh, congratulations. That's amazing. I was down, we have our retailer profitability project where we bring retailers together and we help them create more meaningful structure and direction for their business. And we have a retailer in the New Orleans area, so I got to visit just less than a year ago. Absolutely wonderful place that you live and call home,
That's
Mike.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
thank
being
you. Really
on.
appreciate that.
So, Justin, I think I've met you at one of our summit event shows before in person. Lively personality, just chatting it up with all the retailers, helping them. I know you're a longtime mountain and gravel rider, and you're the retail activation manager at Locally. Can you tell us just more about your career and what you do now?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm coming up. I just had my 4 year anniversary with Locally. So it's been really great to kind of grow with the company um and and yeah, continue on with Locally on that journey. I'm based in Western North Carolina, up near Boone, if you're familiar with that area. So a lot of good mountain biking, gravel riding. I had more of a recreational background, so before Locally, I kind of had some work in sales and in the outdoor industry, and then also led a lot of groups and high ropes courses and all that sort of stuff. So just the people interacting with people, leading groups, kind of transferred over to talking to retailers about Locally, working with retailers of all shapes and sizes uh, to for them to learn about Locally and get up onboarded onto Locally.
It's such so I love where you live. Yes, I'm a big mountain biker myself and love that area of our world. And I feel like post COVID, we had this big boom of people, and with COVID, people wanting to pick up, wanting to order online, pick up curbside, whatnot. And retailers never, the majority of retailers had no experience in this section, let's say, of retail. So it's interesting to me as I've gotten to know Locally more, and for our listeners, it's locally.com. That Locally was founded by retailers to help you retailers get your products that you have in store found by shoppers. So we know, what is it, Mike? Like 90 something percent of purchases start online these days, right?
They,
Like
that's the numbers. That's the numbers.
it is.
And it's growing constantly. It's more and more people, use the internet to do research, to find out where they can buy things, and then that's how they start their journey.
I'm thinking for me, if I think about it, I think it was post COVID that I had that like moment where I was like, all right, this is a real thing. We have to figure out how we can get, as retailers, get our products online. But Mike, like, I want to know locally, when did you have that moment where you were like, oh, I think I need to solve this problem right now. I think that there's an opportunity that we can help more retailers have their products found online.
Absolutely. So I came in as the third generation. I was the generation that helped my family's business get, online, right? So I, in the 90s, built, one of the very first outdoor industry websites to sell products. By the early 2000s, I was the first retailer to sell products on Amazon's marketplace. And then over an arc of time, what I realized was that shoppers were becoming like disconnected from what's available nearby. And so what I did as a retailer was I used my expertise, let's call it. I don't know that it is, but like to start targeting local shoppers with ads rather than like national shoppers and saying, I want to drive people in the store just for my own business. I said, I want to run ads in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And I want to like the call to action for those ads to be come to my store. Here's Patagonia. Here's, whatever. And let's get you in the store. And then over a period of time, the other thing that was emerging was things like Expedia, right? And things like Uber and things like Ticketmaster and Open Table, telling people you use the internet to do these things that you're going to physically go and be present in, right? So like you want to book a table and have it waiting for you when you get there. You want to book a ticket to a football game or a concert and then go to it physically there. And what I realized was that this just didn't exist for stores like my own, and I needed to have something that was, the analog to that available for me to market for, and to like drive people into my own store. And I ran around talking to people and they're just like, I can't believe that doesn't exist. I just can't believe it doesn't exist. And it really was just an exercise in herding cats for the last like 13 years, like getting retailers to go, okay, well, if I want people to walk in my store, I need to show them what I have in stock. I need to be able to like interact with them and say, I'll hold this product for you when you get here. And that's kind of how Locally is was born and how it's grown.
So Mike, how many years ago did you like you just kind of like, oh, I started the first website ever. Like, come on, Mike, that's huge. Like that's
Well, it was one of the very first retailers in the outdoor industry in the 90s to like actually launch a website for e-commerce, right?
that's
And it was all had to be bootstrapped. You just basically went to Office Depot and bought a program and went home and loaded it and ran your own server and did all this kind of stuff because there just wasn't, Shopify. I mean, there was like you did it all yourself.
there was like mail order catalog, like performance bike was
Exactly.
sent to our house.
Exactly.
And to where we are now, we have systems that can connect to a person's point of sale, and that now your product can show up as in stock on like the brand's website. And I believe it's like what's happening behind the
hmm
scenes.
hmm
So Mike, when was Locally founded?
So we started the proof of concept in 2013,
Okay.
and we brought in an array of like kind of friends and family, but they're not really they're friends, but they're more like reps from different companies that I was familiar with. At the time I was the chairman of Grassroots Outdoors, and I was telling all my friends on the board and telling friends that I'm from the outdoor industry, hey, you want to get involved in this? And so we all kind of pooled some money together, built a proof of concept. That proof of concept launched in 2014 as locally.com.
Okay. Wow. That's fabulous. We always like sometimes hear about these big brands or service providers that are making life easier for retailers, and we don't really have like the background, or we can't put a face with the company name, and we think there's just a bunch of people who, I don't know, are faceless. But it's so interesting to me to hear about how Locally was started and that you are like a generational retailer, and like it just makes it more authentic to me and more personal, and I know
Good.
everyone on your team cares so much, so I get it
That's
now.
right.
Like I put it all together. Justin, so at a high level, can you tell for our retailers who are like, okay, I kind of understand what's happening here with Locally, can you break it down in very simple terms on how retailers work with Locally?
Yeah, so we typically break it down into three main steps of connectivity for Locally. So, first, you can claim your Locally account. So, by claiming your Locally account and your Locally listing, you can manage how you're showing up on any of your manufacturer sites that work with Locally. So, you might have, 10 or 15 different manufacturers that use Locally on their site to power the where to buy experience. So, you can update your logo, add your website, add all your basic information so that you're showing up correctly on the site. And then the next step is connecting that inventory feed. So connecting the inventory feed is where we would link to your POS system. And then we're able to show what's actually in stock. We typically set up a daily inventory feed that updates automatically in the background. It's meant to be kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing. Both of those things are completely free. By connecting the feed, it's getting the product out there in front of shoppers on our product locator, which is embedded on the product page. So as a shopper's looking at a specific item, you're going to show up there in the local areas having that item in stock. And then our store locator, which is the find a dealer page. And then the last step is collecting sales or opting in for transactions, which would be buy online, pick up in store, reserve online, pay in store, and then we also have a growing same day delivery program as well. So there's quite a few different delivery options and then pickup in store options. But the whole idea behind it all is getting your products out there in front of more shoppers, giving shoppers another way to transact with you and bring more shoppers into your store.
Yeah, the retailers that I work with most often like want to be found online, but the term like SEO or Google AdWords, it's all like just very confusing and doesn't make a lot of sense. So being able to be found online locally is important. What about for our brands listening? We have a lot of brands listening. How did they get involved with locally?
I'll
Yeah,
take it.
Mike, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so we do work with probably 100 or more brands in the bicycle industry. Um, we serve like the same tools that Justin just isolated, the store locator, product locator, intelligence, marketing, all of those things are things that we offer on the brand side too. And so brands can get involved in, bringing their retailers onto the shopping experience of their site and providing a path for the customer. And I think that like the most important thing here to think about, when we're talking about retailers and talking about brands, and this is a a business podcast, but the reality is that the consumer shapes the experience. In the cycling industry, probably as much or more so than any other industry we work in, people want to do a lot of research before they make a multi-thousand-dollar purchase, but they want to do that and buy that product and get service. They want to try it, they want to touch it, they want to do all those different kind of things. And so the brand essentially is the party that starts the shopping experience, provides the insights into the products, et cetera. They're the source of truth. And then what we do is provide tools for the brand to steer the shopper to a nearby store with that particular product in stock. And what we see is that let's say that a brand wants to use our platform to steer shoppers to what's in stock nearby. What they're also doing is steering shoppers to stores that can actually sell the product that the customer's looking for, rather than just generically steering a shopper to a store that might have a competing brand's products that the store then is inclined to go, oh, well, just buy this other brand.
Yeah.
We're trying to close the loop of the shopping funnel so that when a shopper does their research and makes a decision, they can have a great shopping experience and finish with the bike they wanted.
Want a better shipping solution? Ship the best way with bike flights. You'll save time and money, whether you're selling online, processing a warranty return, or helping a customer ride a bucket list event. If you're an NBDA retailer, email partners@bikeflights.com today, and we'll get your shop set up in minutes. Bike Flights. We ship. You ride.
We did a consumer research report for the past couple of years, and consumers are continually giving us feedback that they want to see, touch, feel, try the product before buying it. And we talk about supplier, retailer best practices. For me, brands that work with locally, retailers are working with locally. That's a best practice so you can get that customer into the
That's
store
right.
quickly so they can get the product that they're after. I mean, when I decide I want to buy something, I want to find it in stock somewhere close to me and I want to go get it. Like, so making that connection right away in a timely fashion, I think is so important. Um, well, what I want to do now is just kind of, since I have you guys, we've got the background on locally. We understand all of our listeners are headed to your website right now. They're going to learn more on how they
Mhm.
can work with you. But I want to ask kind of some of the things you're seeing out in the field that will help our listeners maybe leverage what they're currently doing. We know we already talked about that most consumers, most riders start their buying journey online. Even if I want to purchase in store myself, I'll Google the product and figure out, what I want. So where are bike shops losing customers during that phase? I guess would be my question. Like, obviously you created this platform so we don't lose them, but where are we losing customers? Just, yeah, I'll just put it out there because this is not my forte and you guys are the experts. So,
I don't know that bike shops are losing customers because of anything that like we're doing. We're literally collecting the inventory from stores. We're the ones feeding it into Google and making sure that when you do your research for a mountain bike, that you can connect to what's in stock in a nearby store. And so what we see, Google's our biggest partner, right? So like we work with them almost every day to like, connect inventory from local stores to like Google searches. They are very clear. They see 80 to 85% of shoppers that do research online heading to a local store. And they don't really see that moving down over the next few years because the type of experience that you want to buy a great bike, to have great service, to have it fit properly, have it tuned properly, have, warranty, everything, that's going to happen with a local store. So all we're really doing is making sure that when the shopper decides that they can actually complete the purchase successfully.
I guess my question would be but majority of bike retailers, we have our website maybe with Workstand or Shopify or
Mhm.
whoever, and we think, okay, someone's gonna Google and they're gonna find me, right? So, but I don't think that's happening. I think we're losing customers. So how are the shops not doing things correctly, I guess, to be able to be found?
In that example, if you're doing a good job and you're able to be found via SEO or ad campaigns or any of those things, then I guess the next piece of it, and let's assume that that's the case, that you've done a good job and you're marketing to your local shoppers. Those are the ones that are going to come to your store. They're the ones you want to keep as your customers. Then it comes down to like, are you do you have the right products? I mean, that's just the bottom line here, is that if you have the right products and the shopper is able to discover you, whether it's on your supplier's website or whether it's in Google or whether they know to go directly to your site, if you've got what the customer is looking for, there's a very high probability that they're going to end up in your shop and buy the product that, they started out and have decided in their research.
But it's making sure that you're able to be found online, which just having a
Everywhere.
website, does that do the trick? Just having a website?
I, you know, I work with, locally as a whole, works with tens of thousands of retailers. Some retailers are really good at that part. Other retailers are not so good. And then I would say that there's a lot of retailers who are really misaligned on the idea that, post COVID, everybody decided that they're going to be an e-commerce merchant and ship stuff all over the country. What we've really been advocating for over the last couple of years is to focus on your local market first, to make sure that when the customer is looking for the products that you sell, let's say it's a very popular new helmet or new helmet brand, you need to make sure that you're aiming that at your local customers before you're aiming it at like people 4 states away, so that we don't have this broken shopping experience that you're describing, which is, I want this thing, the local shop doesn't have it, so I'm not going to go to that shop and I'm going to order it rather than drive down there in my car and go buy it. That's a broken experience, and we're trying to help shoppers avoid that too. I mean, help stores avoid that too.
Yeah. I feel like there's just a lot of pieces here. So, like a typical shopper journey, I might look online, find it, and so now I know that it's at my local shop. Is that click and collect? Is that like feature on your website that you can actually secure or buy from the brand or the retailer and then pick it up? That's like that part that has to happen. And locally helps with that as well. So we can,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I feel like that's a sticky point for retailers where they might just like they're thinking they're doing everything correct, but they're not actually at the end of the day getting the purchase or getting the person in their door. If I was a retailer who signed up to work with locally, is there part of that package where you're doing helping me do like an analysis to make sure that I'm checking all those boxes so I'm performing at my optimal level to find my local customers and be found locally?
Yeah, in the locally dashboard, we do have an analytics dashboard. So we'll show in that dashboard, we'll show how many impressions that the locally listing has gotten, how many referrals that they've had, so people that have actually clicked through into their directly onto their listing, any direct sales that they have through locally, and then we also calculate an indirect sales amount. So that's taking into account the kind of referrals and engagements that they get, and then attributing a dollar amount. So we actually we look at the inventory as well. So let's say a shopper was looking at a specific Cannondale bike, and they clicked onto the retailer's listing. So they got a referral from that product page. And then the next day, that same bike comes out of their inventory. We can kind of put those two things together and attribute that as an attributable sale. So we try to get as granular as possible in that analytics dashboard to give some valuable insight into how they're performing on locally, what their listing looks like, which brands are performing the best, which products are getting the most traffic. So it can really be used as like a buying tool or a forecasting tool as well, just depending on how the retailer wants to use it.
Retailers must love that tool. I mean, that's absolutely fabulous to be able to see like the impact this is having on your business. I know locally has a real-time product locator. So shows actual in-stock at inventory on the brand's website for the local retailer. How are we know local retailers, specialty bicycle retailers are a core part of their community. They're always looking for ways to connect to the community. But I'm wondering how important this is for brands and how this has really changed the outcome. Mike, I'm sure you deal with a bunch of brands. Are you learning from brands that being able to showcase this where to buy locally has impacted their sales and been, definitely a attributor to better relationships with retailers, if I would?
Absolutely. We see that every day. And the thing is that the more that a brand leans in to the shopper's behavior, the more that the brand says, I'm going to embrace the behavior that the shopper should be able to like buy the product any way they want to buy it. The more that we see the local market share buoyed for those retailers who are experiencing a lot of foot traffic because brands are leaning in and referring that customer to the local store to buy their bike or to buy their, bike shorts or whatever, new shoes. When brands do that, they work more closely with their retailers.
Yeah.
And it's like a virtuous circle too, because the more that a brand refers sales to local stores, the more that that local store feels comfortable stocking more products from that brand.
Mhm.
And so the more likely the shopper is to walk in that store, experience that brand, feel that that brand is certified by a local retailer, the experts, and then turn around and go back to that brand's website looking for information. It's like it goes both ways. The more that retailers carry in their store for brands, especially emergent brands, the more likely a shopper is to go online and be familiar with that brand and then, continue their shopping experience no matter where they end up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, so I'm in upstate New York near Albany, and there might be 10 different bike shops, right? And probably everyone has, let's say, a Ceres Bones rack. But if three retailers actually had their point of sale connected to Ceres so they could show they have it in stock, and I'm a customer looking and I'm seeing those three shops versus the other seven that aren't showing up, I'm going to go to one of those three. And I'm going to have probably, as the shop owner, a better relationship with the brand because I'm getting more traffic, people are coming in more often. It's just a win-win for all. So I could definitely see how that would be a tool because just being on the dealer locator, that's not enough. Like then the the consumer has to do that extra step of, God forbid, making a phone call. Like that's awful. But like, going to find the retailer's website and, having that product show up right there is so important. Did I hear brands like Aventon, Bianchi, SRAM, I think QBP brands, Salsa, Surly, are they all working with you now as well?
Yes.
Wow.
Track, Cannondale. We work with a tremendous number of cycling brands.
And are these brands pushing out to their retailers, hey, get involved, get involved. This is a
Absolutely.
that's yeah. Yeah. Is there a disconnect or are you feeling like a lot of retailers are hearing this and seeing like are retailers jumping on board or do we need to show them the value more clearly?
Yeah, we do have a lot of great coverage already in the cycling space. I think we're around 6,000 stores that are connected with locally. That's just independent bike shops in North America. So we're at around 6K for that. I always say that there's always three buckets. So there's the proactive ones that got set up a long time ago. There's the reactive ones that, maybe one of their new brands like Aventon launches and then they're like, okay, let's check out this locally thing now. Because Aventon's doing it, they're one of our top brands. And then there's always the inactive ones. So there's always going to be some that just decide that's not for them. Maybe they decided, a long time ago the internet wasn't for them and that they're still in that camp. Who knows? But yeah, we do have great coverage. Every time a new brand comes on, it provides more value for the retailer. The more brands and the more products you have up and connected through locally, that means the more your products are going to be shown online on all these manufacturer sites. So every time we get new brands like this SRAM and Bianchi and Aventon about to launch, it's going to help them and it's going to bring on more retailers as well.
Like nuts and bolts, so Justin, retailers are so busy. They're wearing hats of like the marketing guy. I mean, Mike, you're a retailer. Like like how hard is it to implement locally? And like, is this a big learning curve? Do they need to put a team member on it? Just give us a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so it is dependent on UPC, so tracking UPCs in your inventory system. But most people, if you have one of the POS systems that we already work with, like Citrus Lime or Lightspeed, or Shopify, it can all be done in about 30 minutes. And it's an automated task that's just going to run in the background. So once that initial inventory connection is set up, and you set up the notification schedule for the incoming orders, then it should all just run automatically, and be done from there. So if all goes well in the onboarding process, 30 minutes tops, I can usually get somebody set up in a meeting.
Wow, that's pretty quick. That's pretty good.
Permanently too. They don't have to do it again. They assuming that they don't change anything, their point of sale will automatically be connected to us and stay connected to us for, for years.
Oh, that's easy. That is really easy. And so what about, I'm sure you have retailers that like Justin, you kind of said it, some that are like set up but not really doing a lot. And then maybe you have some retailers who are really I would say locally all-stars who are just crushing it. What's the difference? Like what does a retailer need to do to be like a locally all-star? I just made that up, by the way. Just so
Yeah,
everyone
I
knows.
like
we're
it. I like
taking
it. Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think just like a periodic check-in just to ensure that your inventory is looking good and all your brands are showing up correctly. Like um, just like a quarterly check-in on your inventory feed, just making sure everything's coming through, making sure that you're up to date on all the transaction types that you want to receive. So the three main ones are the buy online, pick up in store, the reserve online, pay in store, and same day delivery as well. So just giving the shopper all the options to check out and shop with you is a big thing. And then our real locally all stars can also refer new brands because that helps everyone involved. So it helps us, it also helps them, and that's how we do get in with a lot of new brands. Is retailer, they're a fan of locally, they like their experience, and then they go to a new brand and they say, "Hey, have you looked into locally? Have you thought about this as an option? I think it really helps bring more shoppers to my store." So that has helped us to really grow, especially in the cycling space, kind of brick by brick.
Yeah, I would think if I was a retailer and like six of my brands were on and four weren't, I'd be like, "Hey, brands, let's go," right? Like that makes a lot of sense. Um, okay, what about you're not just in the bicycle industry though, right? I mean, I can't imagine locally only in the bicycle industry. Mike,
No,
how many industries? Tell me more.
we're in the music industry. We're in the tool business. We're in the within all the sporting good businesses. So we have lacrosse retailers. We have lots of running stores. We have lots of bike stores, but also a lot of ski shops that cross over.
Yeah.
We've got major nationwide retailers in the tool space that are on our platform. We support people in the farm and feed business. This is according to Google, this is the main way people shop. This is not like a unique boutique way that people shop.
Yeah.
Doing research online and then going to a store, that's the number one way people shop. E-commerce, if you talk to people, 1 or 2% conversion rate. It's like 80% of the people are doing this particular behavior.
Yeah, so this is interesting to me because we work with retailers. I work with retailers every week, meetings, and I love it. And we're making plans to make their business more profitable. And e-com is one of those retailers want to see 20%, 30% of sales, but it seems like we can never get past this like 10% hump, and that's for retailers who are investing a lot of money. But that means buying on the website. I think there's a lot of this other transactions that are happening behind the scenes that are related to, online finding product locally, but aren't actually resulting in a sale on the website. So they're not in that e-com number. But the data that I'm seeing is consumer habits start online, and that's how we find the products.
That's right.
So I was going to ask you, just knowing that you're in all these other segments, you must be just seeing consumer expectations. I mean, you must have millions of consumers that you're seeing how they're engaging. And what is it? Speed, convenience, and fulfillment? I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right. And what we're seeing right now, and we work with a lot of really big companies that are much bigger than us, and what they're also seeing is they're seeing consumers now moving back to making local purchases. Okay, it's not really swinging the more sales to Amazon way anymore. Now it's kind of like, okay, local stores are kind of like distribution spots for internet transactions where you can just go, I want to have this in an hour. And so like within the next year, I would expect locally to have, literally every single zip code in the United States covered with same day delivery, from bike shops, ski shops, running stores, tool stores, everything. And you'll just be able to get almost anything you want within an hour. Working on rolling that out for a few of our larger brand clients, but then lots and lots of like small local shops are going to be solving for that too.
Hey everyone, it's Frances, and I want to talk about community, specifically the Canadian bicycle retail community. For years, Canadian retailers have traveled to our US summits. You've told us you want something closer to home, something that speaks directly to your market. We hear you. The NBDA Retailer Summit Canada happens this year, July 29th and 30th, and it's built for you. Main stage sessions in the morning featuring Canadian retail leaders, interactive flow sessions in the afternoon where you problem solve with peers facing the same challenges. We're diving into what matters, exceeding customer expectations in the Canadian market, winning inventory strategies for your season, staff development, service center profitability, and the e-mobility opportunity in Canada. And here's what makes this extra special. Your distributors are already behind you. HLC, OGC, LTP, and Giant are supporting this summit because they're invested in your success. Registration is $250 for retailers or $200 for NBDA members, and just $175 for each additional team member. Visit nbda.com and register today. Summit Canada, this year, July 29th and 30th.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting to watch. I would love all the data. I'm sure you have so much data, and I bet the brands that work with you get the data too. Like where regionally, who's looking at their product. I mean, there's so much to learn from that.
We serve 60 million shoppers per month with where to buy products.
60, wow.
60 million across the industries that we're in. 60 million unique shoppers, to clarify, per month are looking for a way to go from online research to in-store purchase.
Wow. That's a big number, Mike.
It's a big number.
Do you feel that people are like, when you go to a specialty store, you normally want to buy something. You go with an intent to purchase. Is there browsing happening again where they don't know what they want, but if they find it in line local, then they might be like, or if they find it local, they might just be like, oh, I'm gonna go get that just because, like, you know what I mean? Do you ever, I don't know if you track for that, but I wonder.
I think that's what I actually saw happening in my business, is that like we had less people who relied on our authority. Let me give you an example of like how we kind of get here. So back at the beginning, Massey's, my store, had like 4 incoming phone lines, right? So the phone never stopped ringing all day long. People, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you do this? Do you do that? I don't remember now the times that the phone rings. Okay. People are using devices to decide where to go, and then they're going to those places based on whatever information they can find online about that store. Inventory is a really critical part of that. The transaction is also a really big part. Like you wouldn't just show up at a football game and just assume that you could walk up to the ticket office and buy what a ticket to the game at that moment. You do that online, or go to an airline and expect to get on a plane that day because you're buying it at the counter. It just doesn't work that way anymore. People do that research online. They try to make their transaction if they can, and then they take possession of an airline ticket or a reservation in a restaurant or like a Saris rack at a local store.
I mean, it is quicker. Like I have 2 teenage kids. I don't want to go take the risk of going to a store and not being able to
Exactly.
find what I want. I barely have time to go to the store.
This is retail catching up with that, right? So like local retail, Amazon swooped in Amazon swooped into the retail space, Uber swooped into the taxi space. All of these technology companies have moved into the space, and they're solving and making things easier for you as a shopper. But local retail really hadn't changed. That's what Locally came in here to do, is to like make it easier for you to find what you're looking for, find the right store, even have your name on that Saris rack when you get to the store, and you already know that they're going to install it for you.
So I think locally, from the research I did, that we've got reserve online, buy in store. We've got buy online, pick up in store,
Yep.
delivery, and ship to store, right? From the
Mhm.
manufacturer. So
That's
is
right.
there one that's you're noting as preferred, or are they all kind of equal players, but having them available as options is the big ticket?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but I think that overall, this would be all industries, would be, it's about 60/40 ish for buy online, pick up in store to reserve online, pay in store. So it's mostly even, definitely a little bit higher volume for the buy online, pick up in store. The one that we're really focusing on, and Mike kind of touched on, is the same day delivery option. So We have a couple different fulfillment partners, and a couple coming down the line. Mike, I don't know if you want to share more on that and our relationship with our carriers there.
Yeah, so we will be doing we'll be doing delivery using all of the major services. Okay, so like DoorDash, Uber, Roadie, which will be able to deliver bikes. All of those are coming out in they're slated to come out by the end of the first quarter, but like it's probably going to be the beginning of the second quarter, where almost anything that is available at a local store can be at your house in an hour.
Well, of course, why not, right? I mean, I love
Exactly.
Mike, we're gonna be best friends. Like, I love this. This is like you're gonna help so many retailers. This is so important. It's so important. Wow.
Yeah,
And then
I always like to give an analogy there, like you're at work and your pedal broke, but you really want to ride after work. So then the shopper is willing to pay that convenience fee to get a new pedal, delivered to their workplace, and then they can be riding that
that's
evening
right.
on their evening ride, that kind of thing. So it
Or there's like a
just
birthday party, or there's like we are so busy as humans these days that it is like impossible just to get to work and get home and get the kids off the bus or like but you always forget like something happens. Like I want to go for a ride, I forgot my helmet, or it's Dan's birthday, or who knows what. And we need something. So of course, now bicycle retailers have access to being able to deliver same day through locally and your brand partners. I think this is a huge win. It's a huge win.
And then the flip side of that, and I talked about it just briefly a little while ago, is that we want the local store to have the products that you're looking for online, right? So we're analyzing those 60 million shoppers. We're looking for holes in your inventory. We're looking for things that you've sold out of. And then we're helping you write purchase orders to keep your store in stock with the best sellers, right? So like that's how it all works. If we can just do a really good job of making sure that you're keeping the right tubes in stock, or you've got the right, you know, like seat post, or lights, or any accessory that you need to sell to shoppers, we want to make sure you're able to stay in stock in those, because all of this falls apart when the local store sells out of the product.
When you don't have the product, right? It is really important to have that circle of communication so you know what you need in store. Marketing budgets are tight, but retailers have never been more focused, I'd say, on making sure that they can serve their local community. The other piece that's so important that we're talking about is door traffic right now. Traffic is down. Like, unfortunately, maybe it's because it's happening in the world, economics, but we're trying to increase our outreach and get more people in the door. I would say this is the ticket. Like this is the way that you can bring more people in the doors. Let people know what you have to sell, right? So
That's right.
if a retailer wanted to get started with locally or wants to ask more questions, maybe has questions I didn't ask, I know there's the website. We'll send them there. What's the best way for someone to get started?
Yeah, just if you don't have a claimed account already, just claiming your account will, but we're always doing active outreach to anybody who's claimed their account and get started with
Justin,
locally.
what does claim your account mean? Can you give us a little bit more on that?
Yeah, yeah. So we already have through all of our brand listings and everything, we already have almost every bike shop in our system, whether it's claimed or not. And by creating or claiming a locally account, you'd basically be looking up your shop on our database. And let's say that you are an Aventon dealer, you will see your listing there and you'd be able to claim that account and
Hey,
basically
that's
take
me.
ownership over it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, hey, that's me.
Exactly.
Like a Yellow Pages listing if you want to simplify it, go back to the older days. Yeah, so that would be claiming the account. And then if you want to reach out to us, the best email would be activation@locally.com. As far as getting ready and getting started, that's going to go to my inbox and a couple of my colleagues. And then our support line is really helpful too. So that's support@locally.com. It's going to get you in touch with our full support team for any questions about how to connect or any troubleshooting issues that you would have with your account.
I love it.
And let me add just a little bit of clarification to make it really easy for people. So imagine that locally is both Yelp and OpenTable. Yelp has like every restaurant in their system, right? And so some of those, the restaurant owner controls their hours and puts their menu up and does a variety of things. That's what like the basic claim your account does for locally. To make sure that like all your information's right.
Okay,
You
so
can
we want
also add
everyone to
like
do that.
everyone to do that. And then you have kind of this open table functionality that you can also add, which is reserve your table inventory. But in our case, it's reserve bikes or accessories.
Excellent. So, listeners, hey, if you're a retailer, head over to the website. We've got it linked in the show notes and claim your account. Everyone should do that regardless. And then, if you want to get more involved,
Totally free.
steps there to do that. And then, what about our brands? I know we have a lot of sales reps who are on the road. They listen to our podcast. I want every brand to get involved in this because it seems like we need to complete that circle, right? So, for brands to get involved, how do they reach out?
So it's similar. They can there's a variety of forms that they can fill out if they visit locally.com or join.locally.com. They'll see a lot of information about the various services we offer. The three main functionalities that we provide to brands is a shopping experience, which we spent a lot of time talking about today,
Yeah.
intelligence, which we spent a little bit of time talking about today, and then finally we also have like co-op programs, we have landing pages, we have a variety of other tools, Google integration. We have all these additional things that are marketing related. Like a lot of brands do want to do advertising for their local stores and tell people where to buy that brand new, 29-inch bike. Okay. And so like this is what it's all about.
I love that because we often talk about that co-op opportunity that exists. And, retailers are, sometimes I hear like, oh, our brands don't want to do anything. And I'm like, I'm sure they do. So it's
But
nice
it's
to hear
hard. It's
that.
hurting cats.
Yeah, no, it is because it's also just another thing on our to-do list, right? Like our intentions are already there. It seems like you're making it a little bit easier for brand and retailer to connect and actually make it happen. So that's really important. Um, Consumers, their expectations, we're evolving every day. Like it seems like almost every day it's changing. I love that you're getting involved in this ship locally, deliver it. This is huge. Um, what are you keeping your eye on as we roll through 2026 into 2027? Anything there that's like kind of on your radar besides what you're already doing? Not that you're not doing enough. It's amazing.
The biggest thing that we are spending a tremendous amount of time on is AI shopping or
Mm,
agentic shopping. We're really focused on that. It's still a fairly small consumer behavior, but we really expect that over the next 5 years, shoppers will largely solve for their shopping situations by asking AI to find a shoe or find a part or find whatever and say, I'm looking for this thing. How can I get it quickly? Okay. And that's part of our push into the, same day delivery is that we just expect that when all stores inventory can be analyzed, shoppers will just expect to be able to get products the same day. And we've sat with enough of the really big tech companies to realize that that's their biggest push. That 85% of your purchases come from within 5 miles of where you live or where you work. And so all it's about then is about, seeing and being able to buy those products and having them delivered. You don't need to have things shipped across the country.
yeah. Yeah, the AI. I'm paying attention to that. I love that.
AI makes it
Michigan
all
knew that was
possible.
coming.
Right.
That was
Right.
maybe like Justin, you work with so many retailers out there. I hate to ask if there's one thing, but for retailers who are trying to get better visibility online, like something you might suggest?
Yeah,
This,
that
do
I
this.
I would
Come on.
yeah, I would say one thing that I've seen really take off in the last year or so is just connecting your inventory to Google. So through locally we have an option where you could do that for free. So you can whatever comes across in your local inventory can you can connect to your Google Merchant Center so that it's attached to your Google Business profile. People can browse your inventory there. So just another way to browse inventory. And then we also specialize in a specific ad type in Google called a local inventory ads. So local inventory ads are served to shoppers that are in your immediate area. So you're, bike helmets near me type of shopper on Google. Google will prioritize those ads and show them in your local market. You also get store visit tracking, which is Google will actually track the location of the shopper. You get to see any shoppers that actually do visit your store, even if they don't click on buy now or reserve now. So you can get really into the weeds as far as how you're getting a return on ad spend there. So that program's probably one of our biggest growth spots for retailers right now.
Yeah, that seems huge. So retailers, again, go claim your account and then connect your point of sale. Because I am definitely a bike helmet near me Google person for sure. So I'm
That's
sure there's a lot of people. I don't
will
know.
help the local store win that search.
Yeah. Justin, Mike, thank you so much for coming on Bicycle Retail Radio and for everything you're
Thank
doing
you,
for the
Heather.
bike industry. We need more people like you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Love it.
you. Thank you, Heather.
Thank
This
you.
is great.
And thank you for your support of the MBDA. You and your team have been great. I know that I'll see, I think, Scott up at our summit in Canada, and I'm sure probably
Yes.
hopefully
Yep.
connect with you sometime sooner as well. So
That sounds
thank you
great.
guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for spending time with us on Bicycle Retail Radio. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe and share it with another retailer who could use the insight. Join us every week for new conversations and fresh perspectives to keep you ahead of the curve. The MBDA is constantly creating events, webinars, and resources built specifically for bicycle retailers. Check out what's coming up at mbda.com. Shout out to Francis Abbott for today's graphics. Interested in sponsoring an episode or know someone we should talk to? Head to nbda.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.